Well, congratulations on an amazing run on The Masked Singer. One of your clues was what you called the almost in your career. And a lot of viewers think you could have or should have taken it all home. Were you thinking of this as an almost, or what's your perspective on being the runner-up?
Well, I mean, this show was a lot more of a lighthearted event and move in my, of the things I've done in my career. And I think that I was just out there to have a good time. I think when you're dressed up like this ridiculous turtle singing love songs, you can't really be taking yourself too seriously. Um, I to get as far as I did was so much fun and surprising. And, there were 18 competitors, and to get down there at the very end was cool. And there were so many people that deserved to be at the end. So I just had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And was there a specific almost you were thinking of throughout the years or that inspired you?
Sure. I mean, over the course of a career, I've been doing this professionally since I was 9 years old. I started on Broadway, and I had a lot of early success. And then there were some moments in, my 20s when things were really heating up for me as an artist. As you see a lot of success, you also see a lot of failure. And there was one moment in, I think I was 21 years old. I had booked a huge starring role in a new film with M. Night Shyamalan. And it was a huge, $80 million picture. And I was going to fly to Greenland, and I was in training, taking Kung Fu lessons for 2 months. And 3 days before I was supposed to fly out, the role was pulled from me and they gave it to somebody else.
So this was Last Airbender, I'm guessing?
Last Airbender. Yeah, that was one of them, one of those moments. And I just, when you're 21 and that happens, you don't really understand why. And later I realized it was all political. It had nothing to do with me. But ultimately, when you're that age, it's tender, it hits you. So there was a lot of those kind of moments that, TV shows that never really launched or never got picked up, just the normal things that happen to a working actor or musician in this town. And you learn to cope with it the older you get. You build that resilience and that, quote unquote, thicker shell, I guess, as they said on the show.
Sure.
That was sort of the narrative they were drawing and the parallel they were drawing when it came to those almost moments.
So now that everyone has been unmasked, have you reached out to any of your fellow contestants, anyone you were already friends with who you can now finally talk to about this experience?
Actually, subsequently from this show, I've become pretty good buddies with Hunter Hayes, the astronaut. And we actually, after the finale, he came over and we had a little bit too much whiskey and played piano till all hours of the morning. And yeah, we've become buddies. He lives in Nashville, but we've been talking since the show. And yeah, it was a really great group of people from the cast and the crew and everybody that worked on the show. Just a really great team.
Well, when we spoke to Hunter earlier this season, he had mentioned that he thought the turtle was the one to beat. And now that everyone knows who you guys are, fans are definitely here for a collab. So maybe let's get the ball rolling right here, right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I went on all the social media, and definitely my fans are out there, defending me. They would have defended me no matter what, no matter what place I came in. They would have said, they would have had my back. But it's just the way it went for me this time.
Do you think you and Hunter will collaborate professionally?
Oh yeah,
Make music together?
I hope so. I mean, I can't imagine why we wouldn't. We're both fans of each other's music, and he's just a great guy. So I can totally see that happening.
Awesome. And you also fanboyed just a little bit over Robin last night. How was it getting such a warm response from him over your performances?
Well, he's just such a gentleman and such a nice guy. And, I think vocally he's one of the best to ever do that genre of music. Particularly being like a fellow white boy like myself, trying to sing R&B, pop, soul music. He actually made a huge impact on me as a kid, and he was one of those, that first album that he put out was called Beautiful World. It was before anybody knew who he was. He was not the superstar he is today. And I feel like I discovered his music. And so when he blew up, I felt validated in my taste in music, thinking, okay, you know what? Like, I know what I'm listening is good. And other people agree. So he always just he was a big role model for me. So being up there on that stage every night, seeing him it was such a nostalgic moment for me.
Yeah, a little bit of an extra boost there, right? Have you gotten to talk to your friend and season 1 winner T-Pain at all?
I have. I talked to T-Pain. He's like, second place, huh? But no, T-Pain's a great guy, and yeah, we actually just we did an interview with MTV, I think it was a few weeks ago, and he had some very complimentary things to say about my last single. And he's such a talent, man. A lot of people don't realize how great of a vocalist he is. I think he was battling the last several years, he's been battling that sort of stigma of auto-tune that he made famous. But underneath that is such a beautiful voice that I think he grew up singing church music, and you can hear it. So yeah, he's great, and he got me. He took first place. He's got an award in his house I do not have.
Well, one of the most fun parts of the show, of course, is hearing the guesses from the judges, whether they're close or just not close at all. Who are you most surprised to get mistaken for?
Jaden Smith. I think that was a weird one. I mean, I listened to his stuff after they guessed that. I went home that night. I was like, really? Like, were they really just trying to? I think they were just trying to, do a misdirect for everybody at home. But
Sure.
Any objective listener would have been like, yeah, they sound
not so much.
Like, but I was very pleased to get people like Gavin DeGraw or who else? Billy Joe, who I'm a huge fan of, at Green Day.
Oh yeah.
There was some great guesses. Adam Lambert, who I know from back in the day. Yeah, there was some really great guesses.
Yeah, definitely. And as an actual professional singer, the show may be more challenging for you than other contestants who aren't already known for their voice and their stage presence. So did you try to disguise yourself at all beyond the costume?
Well, no. And, partly because you want to go out there and do a great performance. So sacrificing any vocals for the sake of anonymity just didn't feel like it was worth it, particularly because it's a singing competition and you need to win every week. So that didn't make much sense to me. Plus, that's what the mask is for, right? So for me, it was just about being well rehearsed, trying to get all the material done in time. And then when you make the decision to pick a song or pick the choreography to go with it, to swing and don't look back, like swing and just hope and swing for the fences, because if you second guess yourself, that's when you can fall short. And I feel like I saw that a little bit in previous seasons where people, you could tell they weren't fully confident with their decision. And one of the biggest challenges of the show is that it's such a quick turnaround. You have to be ready to go every single week and just know what you're going in with. So
when in doubt, still just got to be yourself.
Yeah, you got to be yourself, I think. I mean, people did try to change their voices when they were talking a little bit, but I was scared that in trying to do that, I would mess up my vocals. And I knew there was a little bit of an added pressure to be great just because I am a professional singer. And I think once people knew that it was me under there, or people started guessing it was me, there was an even added pressure.
You want to be at the top of your game.
To be great, despite the fact that I'm carrying an extra 40 pounds on my back.
Right. So last time we talked to you, you played it very cool with us about whether or not you were indeed the turtle. So how hard was it to keep the secret in general?
Incredibly. I had to lie to my own mother. My brother hit me up. He was like, I know your secret. I'm sure you can't talk about it, but we're watching, we're rooting for you. So I could never confirm, because of these crazy NDAs they make you sign. And I was so nervous on social media when people would talk about the show. I was always so fearful.
Don't say turtle.
Or I would just like one of their turtle posts by accident. It was just, so I tried to stay off social media as much as I could.
Did soon-to-be Mrs. Turtle know? How hard was it for her to keep the secret if she did or didn't?
Well, she knew. If I was just sneaking out of the house with this mask on and coming home at midnight every night with this mask on, she would have had a lot of questions. So she signed the NDA. She was one of the few people in my head that knew what was going on.
So you also told us that spring 2021 is the tentative wedding update. Any progress or new developments on that front? The whole world is still up in the air right now. So
yeah, we hope. We were actually thinking of getting married this September, and the date got swiped up from underneath us. But I feel bad for the people that swiped the date now, because that's never going to
happen for them either. Yeah.
Everything's kind of been put on pause. I was hoping to tour this summer. That's not going to happen. I'll be lucky to tour this year at all. I think by next spring, I'm hoping we'll be good to go. Because if it's any longer than that, to be honest, I don't think she's going to stick around.
She stuck around this long. I think you're good to go.
She's hanging in there. She ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got a brand new song, Friends, out now, and we hear there's a video on the way.
Yeah, I'm working on a music video as we speak. That should be out in the next couple weeks. But yeah, Friends is the new single from this latest project, and it's sort of a tribute to all of my friends out there. In pop music, I feel like you hear a lot of songs that are romantic about a specific person, a partner, a loved one. It's more intimate, but this is sort of a love fest for all of my friends, who I also consider my family. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say, friends are the most important, just particularly now in this quarantine that we're in.
Right.
You need people to lean on. So I think it comes at a great time. It's a really fun summer bop, and it just I think it's going to make people feel nostalgic for seeing their friends again.
And we'll see you on Celebrity Watch Party with Katie tonight, and you'll be watching the finale again. What's that going to be like?
I'm just gonna have to relive the second place all over again. No, honestly, it was so much fun. Katie and I got to be in our element. That show is really fun. You get to basically watch television and sort of riff and come up with bits and make fun of what you're watching on TV.
What we all do anyway right now, every night, right?
Literally what we do every night anyway. So it was a pretty easy gig.
All right, and before we let you go, how has this experience on the Masked Singer informed your creative process or future plans going forward?
Well, I don't know how much it's informed my creative or any of my creative process, but it certainly made me a stronger performer. Again, just carrying that amount of extra weight on you from a physical standpoint, helps your endurance. And I can hold notes maybe a little bit longer than I used to. So
Yeah, it must have been nice to finally sing on that stage without the mask on for once.
yeah, I gotta say, a lot of people were talking about how they were so nervous to perform, and the mask gave them a wall at least that they could be behind. And I was most nervous about having the mask on. I lived to be on stage, so I just wanted to rip that thing off the entire season. So for the finale, it was such a relief to take that thing off and finally be able to breathe.
Awesome.